Septic system takes solid and liquid waste contaminants out of the house.
Septic system operates from flush
to the septic tank, which is in the yard.
When you flush your toilet, all that waste, it goes out into your septic tank in the backyard. From there, there's going to be organisms that are going to break down.
And from there, it allows the solids to settle out and the scum, fat soils to float to the top.
So basically, the septic system is a cubic tank that has a wall separating into two sections.
Basically, a residential septic system works by having two tanks.
The more it fills, the heavy waste rises down and the liquid goes up.
Separating out the solids from the liquids.
So when it reaches that level of the midsection wall,
the fluid from that will overflow into a secondary tank from where it is then pumped into a leach field or drain field.
What comes out of the septic tank then percolates through a gravel and sand bed, eventually filtering out any leftover solids and bacteria.
From there, the water will be cleansed and cleaned through natural processes and recharge the local groundwater system.
If you install a septic system properly, yes, they are safe.
If it's not leaking, it's safe.
From my knowledge, it's pretty safe.
Not only is the process safe for humans and for the natural environment around it, but it's been around forever.
You're putting natural things into the ground. There's natural bacterias that are going to eat that up.
The issue becomes the age of the systems weren't always designed to last forever, and people don't like to spend money on stuff that they can't see.
To properly maintain a septic system, the costs are relatively low.
It's relatively low cost.
Es muy barato.
Generally, it's around $200 to have your tank pumped and inspected. And you should have that done every 2 to 3 years.
To get a septic system installed, it's $5,000 to $10,000.
I have no idea what a new septic system costs.
I think you're looking in the range of about 10 grand.
I have no idea.
The upfront costs can be pretty expensive. I'm not sure how much the tanks actually are, but you have, excavation, installation of the tank, all the pipings run, and then, you cover it up.
To replace an entire system can cost thousands of dollars. I like to use the analogy of buying a new car. It seems like if you're going to invest that much money into a large ticket item like a septic system or a new car, you wouldn't think of not changing the oil in that car, but people often forget to go ahead and have the regular maintenance done on their systems. It's cheap to prevent a failure, but it can be very expensive if you let it get to the point where it does fail.
Typically, the do's and don'ts of your residential septic system.
Do, for one.
Septic systems are safe to take care of primarily human waste.
General waste.
Probably toilet paper.
Toilet paper, waste.
Water.
El agua de la ducha, el agua de la cocina.
Any wastewater from your home, from your drains, toilets, anything of that nature.
Dishwashing is safe. Laundry soaps, for the most part, are all now phosphate-free, so they're easy to use and fine for all septic systems.
Anything that's pretty much biodegradable you can throw down your septic system.
Anything that'll break down on the ground. Other than that, keep it out.
The don'ts are putting products into the toilet or into your sink or into the drain that are not designed to be broken down.
Anything that won't readily degrade in a septic tank you shouldn't put down there.
You should not use your septic system as a trash can.
Can't put in disposable diapers because they don't biodegrade.
You would be careful with some household chemicals.
You also shouldn't put any grease or pesticides if it's in your septic system.
Like you don't want to clean something from your garden, let's say a plant or so, or dump in soil.
You don't want to flush envelopes or letters from whoever.
You know, like notebook paper.
You don't want to put a lot of cotton. You
cannot put rubber duckies and stuff like that in your water system.
Personal hygiene products.
You don't want to put sand.
Plastic, chemicals, metals.
Pinturas. Or fish from your fish tank.
Latex, feminine hygiene products.
That's a no-no.
Also, pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals are a no-go.
Like you just dump medication that you don't want or you don't use.
Everybody that lives in rural America, if you have enough room on your property to install a septic system, you have enough room on your property to put in a compost pile. That's the best thing you can do with your organic matter that doesn't need to enter the system.
Your septic system, if it's operating properly, should not affect your local environment.
All the water that goes into your septic system ends up back in the environment. So putting chemical waste in the septic system are going to end up back in the rivers and streams and end up possibly in your drinking water.
Or bodies of water that are nearby would be affecting these places where people look at and possibly swim in.
If you're talking local within your property, it would make the soil around your leach field is extremely dirty. It's not something you're going to want to put a well in.
Well, if it was well designed, well cared for, installed correctly, it's not going to really have an impact on the local environment. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
The septic system pre-treats the wastewater from your house, allowing natural processes to remove all bacteria, viruses, and nutrients before the wastewater flow gets into the groundwater.
It can be an asset by recharging groundwater, but it can also be a liability if your effluent's not going through the tank and being properly treated before it reaches the groundwater.
More information can be gleaned out of several websites.
You can get more information at www.wellowner.org.
NGWA, National Groundwater Association.
You can get more information about septic systems from the National Groundwater Association or from wellowner.org.
You can always check your local wastewater plant treatment.
Or even contacting a local geology department that may know something about that.
Well, the internet has everything. Just type in septic systems. Google it.
Please visit our website, www.tworiverscoalition.org. So
remember,
every time you
flush,
please think of us.